Hi everyone, I'm Carly. I'm a cross stitcher, a knitter, a natural dyer, and this is my FlossTube. Um, I feel like I have so much to talk about today. um, so yeah, if you could see, I'm surrounded by whips and starts, no finishes. And there's also a cat back here, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, how are you? It's good to be here. I can't believe it's already like been a month since my last one. I'm feeling like mostly settled into my new space. Definitely my new space. I spend a lot of time in here because the light is good for all my crafting. But just in terms of like finding community and finding people, it's it's going pretty good. I did apply to volunteer at a gay bookstore, so hoping to expand that little arena as well. Um, Find my local queer community, and yeah, but the crafting community, I think I've pretty much got it on lock. So yeah, I've been working at the yarn shop, which has been so fun. It just, my soul feels so nourished afterwards. I have these incredible coworkers, and we get some very cool people coming into the shop who are like local artists, or they're like visiting their family from out of town and they specifically came to our shop. And I get to like help people choose colors for projects and like tell them about the yarn and where it comes from, and just like make them feel happy and excited about the projects they're working on, which, how is that my job? That's amazing. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is I have gotten more involved with the guild that I joined, the Handweaver Guild. I don't weave yet, probably, but the guild has a bunch of different kind of like fabric and textile artists involved. So they have what are called special interest groups, or SIGs, and that's where people with those particular interests can like get together, meet, or just like exchange ideas and whatever. I am part of the newly created Hand Stitcher SIG, which is great. I got to go to their first little gathering, and that was really fun. I am the one and only cross stitcher in the hand stitching group, but some of them like cross stitched in the past, during that like 1990s ish revival that cross stitch appears to have had based on my floss tube consumption, what it would lead me to believe. Um, and but I'm really excited because all of them, they do different kinds of like hand stitching. So someone was needle pointing, many were doing embroidery, some were doing fabric collage, someone knows how to hand quilt. So oh my gosh, that's in my future. So basically, it sounds like we'll meet about once a month and spend some time just stitching together, hanging out, and then teaching each other like different embroidery techniques. And have like a little stitch diary. So get a cloth, and every time we're together, we like practice a new stitch together. So that sounds really fun, and everyone was so nice. This is so silly. I was like going into it being like, oh my gosh, like what project do I bring with me? Like what's gonna impress them, but also like I don't want to bring something big or like with too many pages. So I went with one of my Prairie schoolers, that I'll show you, and was like, oh, is this gonna be too like beginner, whatever? Like, you watch FlossTube, stitchers are just like nice people for the most part. And that, so I shouldn't even have been worried. It was so silly, but I went and everyone was super nice. They're like, oh, it's so beautiful. So my hope is that I will continue to get to be around people who stitch. It was, oh my gosh, to see other people who had just like bags of floss and hoops and patterns, and like we're sitting, it's like nobody's making eye contact because we're all doing this. It's not just me. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Oh, even though, yeah, whatever, I'm not in the company of like cross stitchers, but we're all doing basically the same thing. So that was really fun. And there's also a natural dye sig, and I am now the leader. I came in at a time when leadership was turning over. They needed a couple people to volunteer, and I did not volunteer to be the leader, but that is just how it shook out. So I'm in charge, which means, like, actually, I don't know yet. I have no idea. What I've been doing is volunteering at their dye garden every other week. And that means I go pick flowers with some very nice ladies. And then they, like, do all the, like, they take it and weigh it and try to figure out how we're going to share the dye among the, like, multiple people in our group. But I think I need to collaborate to decide, like, what we're gonna plant in the dye garden next season. I will, like, I think I have to lead meetings. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do. This is a new decision as of, like, last night. So, but I'm excited. I'm so excited to get to do natural dye with other people. It's just fun, and it feels good to be around people who, like, speak your language. Whether that's, like, crafty or otherwise. It's just good. So I think those are all the, like, updates I have regarding that. But why don't I show you what I've been working on? I don't have any cross stitch finishes with me. I did share last time that I was making some like, little froggy like, cards. Ha! Sorry, you had to witness that murder. Some little froggy cards to send to a couple of my friends, and those have gone out in the mail and have arrived safe and sound. But that was really fun, just stitching from the pattern 65 Frogs. And yeah, then I, like, mounted it on some, like, cardstock, so that was cool. That was my only finish, so now I just have a bunch of whips and starts. Oh wait, I have a finish, but it's not cross stitch. I have, like, knitting and stitching to share, so that'll just kind of be interspersed. At the yarn shop, which I cannot shut up about, they offer workshops. My coworkers and some other, like, local artists conduct workshops. So my coworker Teresa did a drop spindle class, and I have wanted to learn how to spin since I was, like, probably 15. I don't know. Like, I remember researching all of the wheels and looking for classes where I lived, couldn't find any, and I just wasn't, I didn't really know how to go about looking for supplies at that time. So I am just so happy that I got to learn from someone who I really enjoyed my time with and who is very good at what she does. So this is a drop spindle. It's an Ashford, so hello to all my friends in this part of the world. And yeah, this is what I spun. I didn't do this all in the same night. She kind of taught us how to do it, and then I took it home. But this is, like, a proper skein of yarn. It's maybe a little bit felty because I, like, couldn't stop touching it, so you see it's, like, kind of fuzzy. But I love it. So it's all these different colors, it's all different weights, just because of how I was learning, my skill level. But it reminds me of Noro, if you've ever knit with Noro yarn. It's, like, very colorful wool. I showed a blanket my mom had made me in an earlier video. That's Noro. So it's all different colors, and sometimes with their yarn it's different weights. So that's what this reminds me of. So it's, like, thick and thin yarn. So you can see there's, like, big chunks there next to, like, little skinny boys. And yeah, I did this with, like, my hands and some fluff and this thing. What? I don't know what to make it into. Oh, look at that, like, red and blue twisty. I think maybe like a little headband or something. I'm not sure what the yardage is. I didn't calculate it. And it's wool, I think. Yeah, because it got kind of felty. But I think a headband would be cute to like wear in the shop. Like I probably wouldn't wear this like out and about. Oh, that's nice. So we'll see. Maybe a little ear warmer. I haven't worked with like thick and thin yarn before outside of Noro, and that was several years ago. So yeah, I need to figure out what my yardage is and then make some decisions. But yeah, this is my yarn I made. That's a finish. So stay tuned. I have like so much other fluff left from the class and that I got from other places. So TBD what this will turn into and how much more yarn I will make. Cool. Finishes, whips. All right. So cross stitch. So I had this like little goal of mine that I would finish all of my whips in 2021 and start the next year fresh, clean slate. And then I started 3 more projects, so that's not, but it might happen. I don't know. We'll see. I think I was like getting burnt out on the projects I was working on, and they're very heavy coverage in places, and I just needed to start something different. So I have a lot of starts for that reason. But this is what I was working on last time. Winter in My Garden by Mirabilia. This lady, presumably, I don't know. This is where I'm at. And I'm getting pretty close to being done, and then I had to put it down. So really all I need to do is finish this back stitch in the border. I need to plant all the little plants, add a map at the bottom, and then like finish off her skirt and like face in hand. So I kind of like that she looks like a little ghosty babe right now, because I don't know, that's just cool. But yeah, it's really close to being done in the grand scheme of things. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I just like have not felt like working on it. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the progress I've made so far. So I've also started kind of rolling my projects. Thank you, Catherine, from Neat and Not, for encouraging that. Now I can't stop, and I've got all these like tubes everywhere, and they don't fit in my bags anymore, but it's fine. It's just an excuse to learn how to make rolls. What are all these bugs? That's 2 murders in one video. I'm so sorry. Where's... Oh my god. Oh. Heck. Okay. Linen and Threads Mystery Sampler Style 2021, or Talavera. I'm behind on this. I'm usually like, I will finish the section before the next one comes out, but I didn't do that this time. I waited until September 30th to start in the September block, and then I started in the wrong spot, so got kind of discouraged and put it down. But then I fixed it. However, it is now October, so. But this is how it looks kind of as a whole. This is stitched on 32 count platinum from Picture This Plus, and wow, my rolls look like folds. Look at that on the side. I'll have to be a little gentler. But this is what September's looking like so far. Picking the colors for that was really fun. I'm just kind of like alternating them all around the circle, or the shape. I don't remember what it is. But yeah, that's how that one's going. So those were the 2 whips I had last time. And now I have all of my amazing starts. They are actually very cool. No, I have one more whip. My crinkled up pattern. I offered this to someone, and now maybe I should not. This is pretty poor. I don't mark on my patterns. I don't make photocopies either. I just use my eyes. But if you don't mind getting a crinkly pattern, I'm happy to send it to you. This is Hocus Pocus from the Prairie Schooler. Yeah, it's cool. It's Halloweeny. I love it. It's on a 32 count Lugana that I plan to tea dye. Oh, something else I was thinking about. So I'm in a Fabric of the Month club this year from Fortnite Fabrics, and it's all Lugana. And the more I learn about fabrics and stuff, like I want to transition to more linen, and I want to like dye my own linen. Like that would just be really fun. So I'm thinking for Christmas, perhaps, will ask for like a giant piece of like white linen, and then much like the natural dye shawl I have, no way. I'm pretty good at getting them though. I don't know where they're coming from. I did like a little piece of yarn and dyed it a different color. So I have this shawl that's like a bajillion different colors. I would like to do that but with linen. So try the same like dyes that I used for the shawl but do it on linen. I think that'd be fun. So maybe that's my next project for next year. This one is going to be tea dyed is my plan. Well, this is how she's looking, this 32 count, 2/2. I was really stuck on that moon for a while. I thought that was going to be really fun because it's basically full coverage, just the same stitching, but I was getting a little burnt out, so I'm really glad I'm past that. Even that owl, which looks like a lot, I felt much like less blocked on that one. This looks like a grasshopper leg. It's going to be a cat. But yeah, this one's fun. This is what I took to the little stitching meetup, and everyone was super complimentary because crafters are generally nice people. Generally. Alright. And this is like, well, I guess the mirror too. This is one of the only ones I'm working on. Oh my god. Where I'm using the called for. I don't usually do that, so just a little fun thing to share. Oh my god, I forgot about this one. Haha. Okay, so I had to go to Michael's to get more 3371 for that Hocus Pocus because I was using the called for, and then I ran out of the called for. While I was there, I decided to go ahead and buy this variegated DMC that I've had my eye on for probably a year now. I have showed the Welsh Dresser by Galiana that I've done. I did several months ago, and I decided it was time to start another Galiana that I had saved. And I had seen a couple other people do this. They did it on an oatmeal fabric using Jingle Bells by DMC, and I was like, I can't imagine any other way of doing this. This is Christmas House by Galiana, and it's coming along. I love a cut-through house. I have a pattern collection of cut-through houses. I'm very particular about them, so there's some I've seen that I'm not drawn to. There's some that I am coveting and regret not purchasing when I saw them come up on eBay. But I don't know if it's because I was like super into dollhouses when I was a kid. I used to make them like out of shoe boxes, and I would make like all the furniture just from like trash basically. And I had like a proper dollhouse like made out of wood. And my mom and I would like make the furniture together for that too, from like little kits. And then I think Michael's also sold a bunch of like dollhouse furniture too. So I loved like teeny tiny miniature things. I loved like the look of a dollhouse, and I loved all those books like The Borrowers, or I don't know. I liked books about like people or creatures like mice, like repurposing human-sized things for other things, if that makes any sense. Like, oh, this shoelace is a ladder now. I don't know. I can't think of a good example, but like I love that stuff. I have a lot of books that are like, maybe I'll show it in another video. Anyway, I love this pattern is the long and the short of it, and it's really fun. This is stitched on a Fiddler's cloth. Do I have the package? Yeah, Fiddler's cloth. And I didn't know what Fiddler's cloth was. I thought it was just like a name for 14 count Aida. Like, you know how linen, maybe it's just Zweigart that does this. I don't know. But depending on the count of the linen, it has a different name, like Belfast, Edinburgh, and that corresponds to the count of the fabric. So I was like, oh, 14 count, maybe that's Fiddler's cloth. Like 22 count is Harding, or I don't know if that's true. Do not quote me on that. Clearly I was confused because this is not Aida. It is, oh, JK, it does say it's Aida. Haha. But wait, I thought it was, oh, okay, here's where I was confused. So this is technically an Aida, but I thought Aida was all like 100% cotton. This is 50% cotton, 42% polyester, and 8% linen. So it has a bit of a different texture. It's still very like stiff and crunchy when it comes out of the box, and I don't care for that, but I think that's just a Michaels thing, so, or a DMC fabric thing. And I'm trying to transition away from fabrics that are not like sustainable, I guess, like the polyester. I'm like, oh, feel a little bad about that, but I didn't read carefully, so lesson learned. And I don't know if that's all Fiddler's cloth or just like this DMC Charles Craft brand that includes polyester. I don't know. I have to do a lot more research about fabric. Speaking of which, oh crap, I don't have it in front of me. Someone very kindly commented on my last video and noted that linen, I think I had said like linen is only produced in Europe. And this person was like, I think it's also produced in China. I haven't looked into that either, but just a good reminder, don't believe everything that people say on YouTube, even if they say it confidently. Good reminder to me, don't, maybe Google things before you say them confidently. Yeah, that's responsible content making stuff. Anyway, look at this. Look at these little baby trees. This is a full skein of Jingle Bells. I've got one left, and then I gotta go back to Michael's. Oh no. That was a little bit of an impulse buy. And I didn't measure this fabric great, so hope I have enough room. Oh, and then I have 2 more starts. This one I actually started because I was getting burnt down on the Mira and the Hocus Pocus. And where are you? This cat is so cute, y'all. Oh my god, she's asleep. Okay. This is Spider and the Fly by Tempting Tangles. This was a poem that I read in 8th grade. No, I recited from memory in 8th grade theater arts. And I selected that one because we could choose from 3 poems, and this one was the longest. And was I gonna show off in front of everybody? Yeah, I was. Did I? Oh yeah. Got an A. So so dumb. Anyway, this isn't even like the right line of the poem. I think I read that it's often like one of the most misquoted poems, like the beginning of it. It doesn't actually say come into my parlor. It says, won't you blah blah blah. I don't remember. You can Google it. But the person who wrote the poem, I think she was a Quaker, so yay, stitching. Let me show you what I have. This is a 32 count Lugana from Fortnite. I think it's from their March Fabric of the Month Subtle Samplers, because it's got a kind of greeny hue. And yeah, it is coming along. This stitched up pretty quickly compared to these other pieces I was working on, so that felt really good. not using the called for, just pulled from stash, and it calls for beads for the spider's eyeballs, so I gotta think about that. Do I want to do that? Make that investment, that $1.25 investment per bead pack? Maybe, because then what am I going to do with the rest of the beads? That's really where I am hesitant about acquiring beads. It's like, I'll use like 4 on this piece, and then what the heck am I going to do with the rest? Like, I don't know. Use them for other things? Maybe. I am having a tough time with this web. It's very tone on tone, just based on where the like dye lays on the fabric and just how my eyes are. I try to put in a length every time I work on this. I've had to pull it out a lot of times. The fly also needs some wings, and then it'll be done. Mostly there's like a little bit of like whatever this stuff is, there's some of it at the bottom, but yeah, there's a little bit of fill in with the fly and then the beads and this gigantic web. I'm not enjoying that, but it's good for me. Push myself a little bit out of my comfort zone. Okay, and then I have just one more whip, and I had to start it over because I was doing it 2 over 1, and I know myself, I know how my like over 1 stitching is anyway on 28 count. I've done 2 over 1 on 28 count. It looks like trash. Why I thought I could do it on 30 count, I don't know. Probably because I haven't done it for a while, because I avoided it at all costs. However, I love this fabric. It came from a grab bag, mystery color and cotton, and it is just, I want to marry it. I feel like I said that last time. It's true. It's beautiful. And my 3 little hexes, which is the pattern that I'm putting on here from D's 20 Stitches, would not fit if I did it over 2. So I'm doing it over 1 because this pattern is worth it and this fabric is worth it. And I just think it's gonna look amazing. Okay, so I did have a ghost in the whole top of the teacup border, but I had to pick it out because it was 2 over 1 and it looked ugly. But the over 1, while still not very neat, you can't actually tell from over there, so who cares? It's looking good. The colors look great on this. Yeah, so I've got the one in the middle, and then I'll have the other 2 on either side. I'm so into this fabric. I'm so into it. I love it. Yeah, I haven't worked on this one for a while. I worked on it like very diligently for a few days, and then I was like, cool, okay. That's kind of how I've been with a lot of my pieces, actually. I'm like binge stitching, and then I like switch to another one. I have a little pile of tubes now. If I can figure out how to move my camera to show it now, it's just gonna topple. Whatever. It's there. Okay, knitting whips. I've got knitting whips. So before I get into that, there has been all this floss drop talk, so I just wanted to show my floss drops. When I first moved here, I was feeling like crappy and just like adjusting and didn't want to stitch anything, so I was like, I'm just gonna cut a bunch of stuff. Floss drops. So I had this paper during the part of the pandemic where people were like, let's clear out every nook and cranny in our home. My parents were like, here's this whole box of books y'all had when you were kids, you want? And I pulled out the Eric Carles, which is like Very Hungry Caterpillar, Very Lonely Firefly, some other ones, and they were falling, like they were just basically loose paper at that point, so it wasn't worth saving. For like, I will keep this on my bookshelf for years to come, and it was incredibly rude to even consider donating it. So I made them into floss drops, and it's great because it's like thick thick paper, because it's books for kids, and that needs to withstand like very aggressive page turning. And then it's beautiful because it's Eric Carle's watercolor. Look it. So I have resisted purchasing a hole punch because I was like, no, I'm like education adjacent in my life, like the people I know and like kind of some of the other work I do. And I was like, I feel like, first of all, binder rings and like hole punches are just things that I will come across. I'm not going to buy them. I did end up having to buy the binder rings, but the hole punch I thought I had found at the like scrappy reuse store in Richmond, but it actually turned out to be like a corner hole punch. So I am just tracing these and cutting them out with Swiss Army knife scissors. Because sometimes I just want something unnecessarily labor intensive. I really needed my mind to be on something that felt productive, and stitching wasn't it at the time. So this is my Floss Monster. This is all DMC. I haven't made these for any of my other brands, but it's all just in number order because that helps me. And then, yeah, it's been really, really nice to stitch with things on drops. I don't have them on little rings. I just throw them in a bag. Whatever, like, bag my fabric comes in, I tend to reuse that. Oh, is this... Agnes is the greeny one, if you care. That's her name. So I just throw it in a bag, and then maybe one day I'll put those on rings, but then I'd have to buy more rings, and I don't want to do that right now. So, but it's easy. You just pull it out, and then if you have like a little piece that you're not done with, instead of like wrapping it around the skein again, you can just like wrap it here. I love it. It's good. So I've seen, like, obviously there's like a lot like people exchanging them and things like that, and then I've like talked about it in comments, and then other people have showed ones they've made in videos, so I'm just showing mine. So I have like my master ring, and then it's broken down by like the different numbers depending on what I have the most of. And yeah, many a time have I just like popped this on here and done one of these. It brings me back to the time when I had hair down to my butt. And it wasn't all of these colors, but it's been a couple of them. So, but I love this. I sometimes hang it on my post here, but then this little monster comes in. I gotta show you. She's just so stinking cute. Look at this. Look at this. Oh. She looks innocent, but she really likes to chew on things, such as this when it's hanging up. So I have to put it in a drawer, and I can't look at it in case Duck comes in and ruins them. It's fine. I would do anything for her. She's not even my cat. Okay, I was gonna show you knitting whips, and that was, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. Okay, so I work in a yarn shop, if I didn't mention. Oh my god, I'm so obsessed with this place. I talk about it all the time. And I want to get to know the yarn that that we carry, so I can like give people really good informed decisions about projects they're working on, and recommend like, oh, well, this one is like kind of this weight, but it actually stitches up this way, or like this one would be better for this kind of project because it's machine washable, or like it's kind of fuzzy, so lace maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so Stephen West, who my coworkers like have met, which very cool. Sounds like a great guy. He does a mystery shawl knit along every year, and I am participating in this year's shawlography. The pattern dropped this morning, and I cast on when I woke up, and it's a lot, but in a good way. Like, I know I'm going to learn a lot of really good techniques, and I get to work with 3 different brands of yarn at least. So I went through the shop and I tried to pull as many different brands as I could. With the color selection that we have and with the colors that I'm comfortable using right now, I did end up limiting it to just 3, which is fine. There is one brand that I could have done all the colors in that I really like, but whatever. Anyway, here's what I have. I have held these all up at the same time before. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, there they are. And this yellow is out of my comfort zone. I think it's beautiful. It's not a color I would typically go for. Purple is not either, but I'm really trying to like push myself. I also get a discount on the yarn, which is nice. Otherwise this would not be a sustainable situation. But yeah, if you don't want to see spoilers, I don't have very much done, but spoilers for MCal. This is what I have so far. Woo! It's so great. But yeah, this is like a very soft yellow. It's Perennial from Kelburn. So pretty in the colorway gold. And then I've got from O Wool, I've got the O fingering weight. Whoop. For the green and the gray that I'm working on. Yeah. The purple is also O Wool, and then I have like another kind of like bluey-ish, and that is that, oh, what does this say? Mondim, and the brand is, where is she? Retrosaria Rosa Pomar. It's from Portugal. Something I really like about the shop is all of the yarn and products in general. My boss, I guess the owner of the shop, she tries to be very thoughtful about like where she sources the yarn, both in terms of like humans who are involved in the process, people being treated like ethically as they create the yarn or dye the yarn, but also like the environmental impact. So like the sheep, are they treated nicely? Because that is an issue in the wool industry. There's like quick ways. What the heck? She sneezed. There's like quick ways to get wool off of sheep, but it ends up like hurting them basically. I don't really remember. I used to be super into knowing more about that when I was a teenage militant vegan. I've forgotten my roots. And then, but there's like kinder ways to do it where the wool still comes off the sheep, but it doesn't hurt them. And then also like the dyeing process to make things able to be machine washable, or the kind of dye that's used, just different considerations. So and also she tries to source from like women and BIPOC owned sources, which I think is very cool too. She just has that like mindset up front. So that's been really nice. I get to learn about all these different yarns and how they're created and all the designers behind them, and it's been really fun. So I wanted a project that would help me work with some of them, and this knit along seemed like a good idea. And also the knit along will teach me a lot of different techniques. But it's been cool. We've had people come in the shop who wanted yarn specifically for that project, and the colors they chose were like wildly different from mine, which I think is so great. But we're gonna have like a really cool product at the end that we both made. And my last, wait, no, I have another whip. I'll show that in a minute. It's like my least favorite whip, and I save it for last. Whatever. This one is not my least favorite. This one, oh, it's beautiful. So when I was picking my colors for the shawl, I had this green, which I think would look really nice. I swapped it out for this one because this is actually the wrong weight of yarn. this is still the Rosa Pomar. So same brand as this guy, but different weight. And because the pictures are different, although look, we can make a little person. I was still getting to know the yarn, so I just grabbed the wrong one. Oh, whose fur is that? But I love this color, and I still need to practice using different kinds of yarns and different kinds of weights. So I'm making a beanie, little hat. I'm using, Pearl Soho has a great beanie pattern that I've used in the past for a friend's sister, the Kiki Toto pillow. That sister, she drew a picture of a hat she wanted, a beanie, and the colors she wanted, and I knit that up using this pattern. So it's just a knit purl, and then the decreases, it makes like lines going up. This is super easy to like take on public transportation or take to the park, or like if I'm in the shop and it's kind of a slow time. I don't think I'll be taking this shawl anywhere. It's just too, at least at this point in the process, looking at the clue number 1, it's too complicated for me to bring out and about. Yeah, I can't. I can have the lights off and knit this. I can watch Love Island with my roommate and knit this, and it's fine. But yeah, so that's that one. I guess technically the last whip I have, those were 2 starts, and this is my whip. I haven't worked on this for a while, but I guess this is gonna be a cowl. I wanted to practice a new stitch I hadn't tried before and use up some yarn, so I've got some Coreopsis and iron water dyed brown, and some yellow onion or turmeric orangey goldy. I ran out of that, so I switched to white, but then I think when this is done, I'm just going to dunk the whole thing in some turmeric dye, and that will like dye the white, and it might also do something cool to the brown. We'll see. But yeah, when it's done, I will sew it together so it makes a tube, and then cowl. Is that everything? I'm so out of breath. I think that's everything. Hold on. It's fire cider season. Do any of you make fire cider? I have it mixed in with some hibiscus tea because they're both kind of like tangy. And I just strained my batch yesterday, so it's fall. Yeah, maybe that's why I'm so into knitting, is because it's like cold, and it just feels right. It just feels like seasonally appropriate where I live to work on knitting stuff. So yeah, I didn't think about what I was going to show for my former finish or my family finish. Do I have anything within arm's reach? Oh, I can show you something I knitted in the past that I don't know what to do with it. It's a finished object, but not a fully finished object. So maybe you can help me decide what to do with this. Hang on. Okay, so this is actually the very first yarn I ever dyed, period. So not natural dye, just dyed, period. I used like a jacquard, if that's how you say it, dye. I picked it up in DC and was like, I hope this works. And I went through this very like silly process, which involves saran wrap and like a steamer. I don't even know. I don't think I needed to do all that. But it did come out to be this very pretty kind of tealy, greeny lusciousness. Yeah, I had plans for making a hexapuff blanket, and I was gonna dye all the yarn myself and knit a scene, like a nature scene. I don't know. I needed to be focusing on something creative at the time. Didn't end up doing that. I ended up just finding this cable pattern, probably on Ravelry. This isn't blocked or anything yet, but I just think it's gorgeous. I love cables. Cables, they set my heart on fire. So do onions, but not in the same way. So this is like really long, but not long enough. So like I can put it like it doesn't, it just goes to my belly button, basically, as you may have seen, if I didn't cut that out. So I'm thinking maybe like a cowl, like I'll just wrap it and then sew these two ends together, and then I could probably like take it on and off pretty easily. I'm not really interested in cutting it, or like, because it could be two headbands, I guess. I don't know. Or one headband. But I want to like maybe not. I don't know. What do you think? What could this suspenders? What do you think? What do I do with this piece that's like this long approximately? Is it my wingspan? No, it's as long as one arm and half of the other arm. What do I do with it? I don't know. That's a former finish. And because this was in the drawer I just opened, here's a family finish. It's a hat that my mom made me. And she did really cool color work with this. This is kind of like a rusticy kind of yarn. Like, it's not super soft, but it's super warm. It's kind of rough. Color work is really difficult for me because I hold my yarn so tight. I think the tension is challenging. But you can see she's got all these different colors in here. And this is what it looks like on the inside when you carry the yarn. So yeah, thanks, Mom. I've never worn this. She gave this to me, I have no idea when, many years ago, and it just wasn't, I think when she gave it to me, I was biking a lot more, so I had a helmet on, and I couldn't wear a hat like this under the helmet, and then I had a lot more hair when it was winter time in other places I've lived when I wasn't biking, but now I don't really bike anymore and I don't have any hair, so I think this is probably going to become a wardrobe staple this year. Yeah, great. Usually I try to like theme my former finish and my family finish, but I didn't do that this time. That's fine. Who cares? I think this is it. Yeah. Thank you for being here. It's good to spend time with you. I look forward to catching up on everyone else's videos and posts. It's been busy, so I'm like super behind on FlossTube, which that's okay. It's just FlossTube. But I am watching and I want to leave comments and engage, so sometimes I'm like waiting until I feel like I have time to do that. So but yeah, keep on stitching and making and being nice when it's appropriate, and not being nice when that's appropriate. I don't know. Oh, I should also say this shirt is from Night Spirit Studios on Etsy. Okay, all right. And because sometimes people ask, my earrings, there we go. These are rose quartz. They're good for like good energy, I guess, if you're a crystal person. A friend gave them to me after I let her borrow some clothes for a job interview, and she got the job many years ago. And they came from some little boutique in a beach town somewhere on the East Coast. I don't remember where she was, but that's these rose quartz. Yeah, anyway, all right, I'm gonna go. I need lunch. Bye. Oh. I realized that I like teased this cat to you and then didn't show her to you, and I know some people like that, so I just woke her up from her little nap. Say hello. This is Duck. She's very unhappy with me right now. Ow. Okay. Can you say hello? Ugh. Okay, she hurts. Bye.